Shalom, this is YAHAWAH with the GMS Dallas camp. First off, I want to give all praises to YAHWAH YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who teach them real well. Peace and blessings to the Akim scattered throughout four corners of the earth, keeping this truth and sincerity. So I just want to make a quick video on the pretty much the Hellenization of the of Israel. Throughout, starting, maybe, well, I'm going to a little bit of history and then going to some scriptures. Just going into how we were forced to conform to the ways of these heathens. And of course, ultimately, it was part of the curses. That we would forget who we are. And all that other stuff. From starting from the transatlantic slave trade, all the way back to the ancient world when we were forced by Antiochus Fourth Epiphanes, to follow his laws and their ways. First, I want to start off with Galatians chapter 3, verse 28. People like to use this verse to say that, it doesn't matter what nation you are, you can be saved through Jesus Christ, right? When in reality, when it says, like it says right here, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ, or all in one in Mashiach YAHAWASHI, right? So I like to say, it says Jew nor Greek, right? So it doesn't matter. But in reality, that word Greek is talking about those Israelites who taking those Greek customs, who made Greek their native tongue, and so forth. So I'm gonna go to real quick. I'm gonna go to Acts chapter 6, verse 1. Acts chapter 6. And in those days, when the number of disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmur of the Grecians against the Hebrews, right? So if we go into that word... Oh, wait. First, let me show you just so you can see. Let's go back to Galatians chapter 3. Verse 28. So that word Greek, right? In the Greek is Helen, right? As you can see right there. Helen. So now if we go over to Acts chapter 6, verse 1, and look at that word Grecian in the Greek, it's Hellenistes, right? Or however you pronounce it. Hellenistes. Now, if you look into the Greek word, I'm pretty sure it should be like we just saw in Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, Helen, right? Now, let's see what the word Hellenistes means. A Hellenist, one who imitates the manners and customs of the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue. So these Grecians, or these Greeks, were Israelites who adopted these customs, and worshiped Greek idols and used, the Greek tongue. So I'm gonna go. Well, first I'm gonna read. Well, yeah, let's go to First Maccabees chapter 1. Oh shit, my bad. Let's see, Apocrypha. Okay, I'm gonna start off at First Maccabees chapter 1. Let's start at verse 39. So this was when Antiochus Epiphanes had taken down Israel, right? So this was after he had taken over Egypt, and since I think Palestine bordered Egypt, it was kind of in his way. So he would, which we're going to go into that in a little bit. But let's see. I'm starting at verse 39. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. We're talking about Israel. Verse 40, as had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, verse 41, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Sound familiar? And everyone should leave his laws, for all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. So going into what we were talking about, man, these people were even during this time, because the scriptures that I was reading was during the Roman Empire, and then this is during the when Antiochus was ruling, right? So this, the Hellenization of the Jews had, happened many times, until finally, they like you have today, we our people are completely gone. They don't know who they have no idea who they are and who their power is, and what they go back to. Continuing on verse 45. I'm going to start back at 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, which is what you have going on today. These people, our people profane the Sabbath days, and festival days. They don't consider that, for example, that the Sabbath falls on the new moon, or Passover, stuff like that. But they're quick to follow Christmas or Thanksgiving and all this other bullshit, right? And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy. I can't read that. Holy people. 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels and idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And that's what you have up to this day. They changed the laws and the ordinances, or they forgot the law and changed all the ordinances, and that's going into the Hellenization, us learning the customs of whatever nation captivity we were in. For example, I made English my tongue, instead of the tongue of our Hebrew tongue. We when we were in the world, we were worshiping different idols, celebrating Christmas, all these other things. And to further back up this chapter right here, I'm gonna read a little bit of history from the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, starting at page 83. I'm gonna start off around the second paragraph, because this is going into First Maccabees chapter 1, in the right in the beginning of chapter 1. When after the four kings had set crowns upon themselves, and divided their kingdom, so this is a chapter called Black Civilization in Africa, page 83, second verse. Second paragraph. After the death of Alexander, his vast empire was divided among his generals. Ptolemy received Egypt, and Seleucus received Asia. As time elapsed, there was constant war between these two dynasties. By the year 198 BC, the descendants of General Seleucus had their capital in Syria. Just in Syria, Palestine. In this same year, the Seleucid dynasty in Syria compelled Egypt to give up Palestine, the land of the Jews. The king of Syria at this time was Antiochus III. Now, when Antiochus IV usurped the throne in Syria, which was around 175, 160, until 163 BC, he entertained the thought of uniting Alexander's empire. This meant the conquest of Egypt. However, the province that bordered on Egypt was Palestine, which stood in his way. All this time, the Jews would not accept Greek culture. Nevertheless, Antiochus was determined to Hellenize the Jews. So he was determined to convert them over to, like we were just reading First Maccabees chapter 1. He made it a law for these people to, after he had taken them over, he wrote letters and to saying that these people need to follow my ways and laws and ordinances, worship these idols and do all these other things, right? The army of Antiochus marched into Palestine to support Menelaus, the leader of the pro-Syrian party. As a result, many Jews were killed. Others escaped to the hills and to Egypt. Only those Jews that supported Antiochus' policies remained in Jerusalem. An edict was promulgated interdicting the observance of the holidays and Sabbaths and circumcision. A statue of Jupiter was erected in the holy temple above the altar. To this statue, the people brought sacrificed pig meat, the animal which is an abomination to the Jews, just like what we read in 1 Maccabees chapter 1, right? And I think that's pretty much it on that. Now, I'm going to go over back to the blue letter. Whoops. And I'm going to go to the one that we all know, Deuteronomy chapter 28. But I'm gonna start off at verse 64, right? Just to show that this was all prophecy, right? Part of the curses for going away from the ways of the Most High, right? And Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which never thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and a falling of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And that's what. After we fell off the ways of the Most High, that's what pretty much what's been going on even unto this day, like I said in the beginning of verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, and what do you have today? We have our people scattered throughout all nations, throughout the whole world, making the nation, whatever nation they're in captivity now, they're making the land, the language of that land, their tongue, conforming to their customs, to whatever they have set up, and it's all a part of the curse, all just everything that's happening today was prophesied. It's been written, it's been spoken of by the prophets. And only the true men of the Lord are going to be able to see it, We're going to be able to understand why this is happening, why things are what they are, And that's pretty much all I wanted to, go into, It wasn't much, but just little bit, just to see if any, just to put it out there, And with that, shalom.